Hello everybody. Well, I figured it was time to do up another video for you just to show you some of the new things I've got done with the Kubota 5740. Made a few subtle changes, I guess in the lighting, in the four-wheel drive system, and just some general repairs around it and some little improvements that'll make my snow clearing this winter hopefully a little bit more comfortable. There's been a lot of people asking, you know, what I'm doing next with it and that. Well, I think this is pretty well maxed it out. There's not much else I can do with the tractor, so let's have a look and I'll show you what I got done. For those who haven't seen my videos before on the tractors that I've had, the one I had before this was a 2008 4240, and last year we sold it and we picked up this brand new 2011 5740. We decided to go a little bit bigger just because we wanted a little more horsepower at the PTO, and it worked out quite well. The tractor right now, it's a year old. We've only used it in the winter for snow clearing, and it's only got roughly around 70 hours on it. But I've made a lot of changes to it, and I've made a lot of changes to it the last few weeks. So I figured I'd do up a little video and just show you. So we'll start from the front and we'll work our way back. The blade is made by Arctic. It's a Canadian company. It's a poly blade, but built very, very well. I've had this blade on that truck down there, which is a 1993 GMC pickup, and it's plowed with that pickup for 14 years. So I guess this blade now is getting close to 20 years old. And when we bought the 4240, I adapted it to it, and then I of course took it and just transferred over to the 5740. It's a great blade. The snow don't stick to it. It's very strong. Never had any issues with it whatsoever. One problem that I did have, and of course it wasn't the problem of the blade, it was in its design, was the whole blade itself trips, and what would happen, snow would gather up here, and if the blade fell over and tripped, it would flick snow back towards the bonnet or the windshield. Sometimes that would even be ice. So to eliminate that, I put in a shock, and as you can see it there. Now of course when it trips, it's still able to trip, but when it comes back much, much slower. So there's no risk at all of the snow hitting the hood or the windshield, which is a nice safety feature. I also added lights, strobe lights, to the side of the blade. That way if I'm backed in somebody's driveway and I'm actually plowing and the blade is out in the road a little bit, oncoming traffic can see these lights. They're called supernovas, and believe me, they are quite bright, and they're LED, and they are just amazing. So that was another safety feature. Another thing I did is the tubes in the FEL, I took aluminum and I made caps to go on each end of the tubes. And now I use the tubes on the FEL for storage areas. And you can see another one there. And they're all aluminum, and they're all put in there with O-rings so water can't get in. And they stay in there. You can pull them out by hand. Another thing that I did is I made a front bumper. I call it my Shackle Bumper. And basically what it is a step. And there's LED flashing, quad flashing lights there. So that helps for visibility when you're out snow clearing. And it makes it look nice on the tractor as well, and it makes it look like it's part of the tractor. There's a better view of it here. And I keep my shackles on it if need be. I have shackles available. Let's work our way back. Now, of course, most of you people know that have compact and subcompact tractors that the exhaust comes out on the bottom down here. Well, this one did too. And I really didn't like that feature. It was making the FEL tube all full of soot, and it was terrible. Even on the 4240, you had to be washing it every 3 or 4 days, cleaning it up because the soot was getting on it, and it was just bugging the hell out of me. So what I did is I designed and fabricated a vertical exhaust, and you can see part of it there. You can see it coming up here, and it basically, there's your stack. And it's worked out real well. The only modification I did, I cut off a short piece of pipe that goes up to the muffler, and I made a bracket right there, as you can see, and it's quite supportive. It's never caused any issues, and it works really well. So my soot problem is eliminated, plus I don't smell any fumes in the cab with the door open anymore. So that's worked out really well. I also utilized the bolts on the FEL, so I didn't drill any new holes or anything. The way I got it adapted is it's mounted on the inside of these bolts here, so I haven't modified the tractor whatsoever, and I can basically take this whole system off in 15 minutes, which is pretty good as well. The other thing I did is I just machined a couple of motorhome stainless caps and put over the bare nuts on the wheels, and that keeps the corrosion off the nuts and the studs. Just pull them off by hand, and I can take off the bolts or the nuts there, and they'll be just like the day they came off the factory. So we put weights on the rear wheels, and there was a big opening right here. So what I did is I just machined a couple of fake hubcaps to go on there, just to make it look a little bit better. There's a few other things on it, like the trim that goes around here. That's just regular automotive trim, and it enhances the look of the machine. We get a lot of compliments on the tractor. A lot of people come in. I probably give 2 or 3 demos a week on this thing, and I don't even own a Kubota dealership. It has nothing to do with it actually, but people just like looking at tractors, I guess. Back here on the business end, there's also a few other modifications. I made these boxes to go on the snowblower, and they're quad flashing strobes as well, and that gives me high visibility in snowstorms or whatever. And also I added LED lights to the chute. You can see how I did that. I just custom made a bracket to go there, and of course now when I'm shooting the snow in different directions, especially in a dark area, I can see where I'm putting the snow, which is, it's nice to know where you're throwing your snow. I purchased this vehicle too, or this tractor as well. I never had a Pto Guard on it, so I fabricated this Pto Guard, and that was a nice little project. I enjoyed that as well. Let's see what else I got done over here. I got a couple of special rubber mounts, and I mounted a shovel and a poker to the back of the snowblower. That way, if I have a plug, I can just poke it out with this, and that's been there now a couple of years, and it works quite well. I really like these mounts. A lot of the emergency people use these on their emergency vehicles, and it stays there and it works quite well. Some of the other stuff I've done with the tractor is a little bit unique to this machine. I haven't seen too many around. I'll just get up here and I'll show you. I made up that light bar that goes across there, and that's made by Welland, and it's an LED light bar, and it's very bright. You can change the patterns. It's got over 100 patterns to it, which is real neat. What you see here is my reverse or backup camera, and that's an infrared system as well. That works really well. That's after saving me a couple of times. People sneaking up on me when I'm backing up, and I didn't turn around quick enough, but I did see them in the monitor. I'll show you that now in a few minutes inside. One of the latest mods I've done is this LED light bar in the back, and you can see how I adapted it to my emergency light bar, and I'm going to tell you, this thing is bright big time. As a matter of fact, it's so bright I don't even think it's street legal, so it'll mostly be used in parking lots, and it draws about half the amperage as the normal lights on the tractor, and it is at least 10 times, maybe 20 times more efficient than the original tractor lights. Incandescent lollipop lights were also replaced with these LED lollipops. Another nice feature that I like. I get people asking me about the fenders on these tractors, and in Canada, the dealership around here, I know, well, the only dealership that I know of Kubota, everything they sell in a Kubota, I think from a 3940 up to the 5740, they will install the fenders. They don't come with them, but they do install them. And they're a real nice feature. I really enjoy having the fenders on there. I have made some changes. I added an extension to the mud flap to try to reduce the salt and mud from flicking up on the machine while traveling. Also, the brackets originally came with it were just regular steel brackets, and they were powder coated, and within 6 or 7 months the powder coat starts to peel off. I hate powder coating, by the way, but that's only my opinion. So what I did is I went into the iron worker in my shop and I stamped out some square holes and some stainless flat bar and put some stainless carriage bolts down, and now I don't have to worry about peeling anymore. Another one of my latest mods is adding this light bar to the front of the tractor, and that's got 40 little LED lights, and I'm telling you, it turns complete darkness into a sunny day, literally. This thing is insanely bright. You definitely would not use this on the road. You'd use this in parking lots or in driveways, but definitely not out on the road. I made up the light bar. It's all made out of 3/4 aluminum bar, and made the guard around it, and it's all attached with weatherproof connectors and whatnot. I also added what I call alley lights, and these are little 2-inch LED lights, and that way if I'm driving down the road and I know I have to do a driveway belonging to a customer, instead of pulling the driveway to see how much snow is in it, I'll just flick on the alley lights and I can look right up the driveway. So I thought that was a nice feature, and I think these two lights, they burn around 0.8 of an amp, so it's no big deal. That top light bar, by the way, consumes I think 8 amps, but it's insane. You'd have to see it to believe it. Of course, in the cab now we've made some changes as well. I've added a Grammer air ride seat. I've posted this on Tractor by Net and Orange Tractor Talks to show how I did it, and it's a little bit of work, but it's a very well worthwhile modification. The seat is just a fantastic seat to sit in. As a matter of fact, you get in it, you really don't want to get out of it. It's probably the most comfortable seat that I own, including the ones in the house. So it's pretty neat. Another thing that I did, maybe some people aren't aware of it, I have to turn on the switch here for you so you'll see it. I put in a rain sensing or a moisture sensing system into the wiper system. That way, when you're turning on the wipers up there all the time, it gets to be a pain in the butt. You're reaching up and down, you're taking your hand off the FEL levers, and you're not really paying attention. So what I did is I put in this sensing system, and I'll lick my finger and I'll show you how it works here now. So I'll just touch the sensor. There you go. Lick my finger again. So I really thought that was pretty neat. Other than the air ride seat, I think that's my favorite modification, and it really works well. I never have to look after the switches up above now. I let the wipers look after themselves. Another few things that I did, I just added a small LED light here on the floor. That way in complete darkness, if I drop something on the floor, I can see where I'm putting it or where I can pick it up to. The other thing that really bothered me with these tractors, and I guess pretty well everything is like it in the smaller tractor, is the fact that when it's in four-wheel drive, this lever right down here in the back, right down here in the bottom, it's kind of hard to see in complete darkness, and you can't tell if your tractor is in four-wheel drive or not, because I do a fair bit of traveling with this from driveway to driveway and parking lot to parking lot. And I used to have to keep trying to remember which is up and which is down for four-wheel drive. So what I did is I put a switch down underneath on the transmission for this stick, and that way when this stick is in four-wheel drive, I have an indicator made up, and I'll just show you what happens when I put it down in four-wheel drive. There you go, and it basically says engaged. I'll take it out, I'll put it in. So it's pretty neat. Now, sitting in the cab, you'll notice a few more things. You'll notice these lights on each side. Little tiny LED lights. You can hardly notice them with the strip going across the window. And they're on both sides. And basically what they're for is because, man, I can't seem to remember to take off the park brake. I don't know if it's old age or just plain stupidity. Maybe stupidity. But I can never remember to take off the park brake, so with these things flashing back and forth, I can take off the park brake. I'll know that the park brake is on, so as soon as you release the park brake, off it goes, which is pretty neat. And very easy modification to do. The other thing that I've done, I've added the reverse camera, as you can see, and I've added a outside air temperature gauge, so which is quite neat. Tells you what the temperature is outdoors, and of course a voltmeter, which they don't have. And even made up a cup holder for my special mug that I use. It's a spill-proof mug, and when you're out in those late nights, it's nice to have a cup of coffee. A few more little mods I've made is the switches that you see there. This one is called a backup camera, right here. I'll turn that off. When I hit my HST pedal back here to go to back up, you don't hear anything. When I put on the switch, that's my reverse beeper, obviously. And the reason why I have it switched is because if I'm out early in the morning or late in the night, I can turn it off and not disturb residents in the area, which I thought was a good idea. This switch here represents our lights for the snowblower, or the snowblower chute, and this switch here represents the alley lights. And as you can see there, you can see them hitting the house there now, and it's broad daylight now, so they're quite bright. So what we'll do next is we'll wait till dark, and I'll show you what the lights are going to be like, and the new LED lights, and I believe me, they're quite bright. Oh, the other thing I forgot to show you too was the horn. I put a horn on there, and that's quite loud. It's an air horn, so I get people's attention. So if anybody hits me, they can't say they didn't see me, and they can't say they didn't hear me. So let's come back after dark and we'll see what it looks like. Well, here we are. The magic of video, it's dark. Can you believe it? Anyway, I have all the original lights that came with the tractor on now. You can see my heartbreak LED lights flickering back and forth. And of course my reverse camera now has gone to infrared mode. That's why it's looking black and white. And all the controls up here, you'll see the stereo, you'll see the heater controls, and you can see that the two main lights are on. That's the top lights for the front, the top lights for the rear, and of course her headlights. When I turn off her headlights, you can see high beam, low beam. So let me just hit the front switch for the new LED light bar, and we'll see if we can see a difference. There you go. So that's on, off. I think it's incredible, the difference. I'll leave them on and I'll turn off the front lights belong to the tractor. You hardly even notice it. I'll turn off her main lights, her headlights. Don't even notice it. I'll turn off the LED light again on the top. I'll turn on her headlights again. The flickering you're seeing is the LED light bar up top, the emergency light bar. Then I'll turn on her front lights again. And then I'll turn on that new LED light. So now you can see why I'm so happy with the output of that light. So we'll turn around now and we'll look out the back and see what difference it makes to the back. So now we're going to turn on just the regular back lights that were on the cab of this Grand L 5740. So here's the back lights on. So you can see the difference. Now let's turn on that new light that I showed you, that top LED light, and see if you can see the difference. Here we go. There you go. Now that's what I call light. Now we'll turn it on again, and I'll turn off the rear lights belong to the tractor. You can hardly notice the difference. So that's how efficient and how effective these LED lights are. They're incredibly, incredibly bright. So that should be a good demo. So what we'll do next is we'll go outside with all the lights on, and I'll show you what they're like. First of all, I'll leave all the LED lights off, the top lights, and we'll do a walk around. Then I'll show you what the LED lights are going to be like on the top outside the tractor. Okay, let's close the door. And we'll walk up front. So now you can see the supernovas that's on the front. You can see the bumper lights flashing. I also got a red LED light there for the step, so you can't miss the step. Let's get back here and we'll have a look. Now we'll go towards the back. You can see I have some other small little 3-inch side mounted strobes flashing, and also the top LED light bar. And we have them down here on the side too, so I got good side protection regards of lighting, as you can see. Then there's the back ones that's mounted on the blower. We'll get back here now. And then you can see her flashing as well. So what we're going to do next is I'll turn on all the LED lights, the new top ones, and that way you can see her running with all them on as well. Here you go. That's all of them on. I don't know how good you're going to see this because they're very bright. I'll go back and show you the rear one now. They're crazy, crazy bright. There you go. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on the alley lights and the snowblower chute lights. I'll let you see what that's like. There you go, that's our alley lights. And there's our chute lights on. So wherever I turn that chute, now I'll have the same amount of light. Obviously. And they're LEDs as well. And there's our alley light on this side. There you go. It's pretty bright. Pretty bright and low consumption of power to run them. That's the beauty of them. Now some people will say, well, they're not much good in freezing snow, but we don't get a lot of that. So there you have it. That's the new upgrades to the tractor. All the lighting, all the modifications, everything that you see, we've added to the tractor. The tractor was great as it was, but these things that I did with it, I feel really improved on the, not the performance so much, but the comfort zone of the tractor, including the air ride seat. So anyway, until the next time, thanks for viewing, and I hope you enjoy what you see. Don't forget to comment. Thanks a lot. See you later.